This is Bill and Deb North of Florida Weekend Warriors, and we are headed back to Alaska. We went in 2021, we learned a bunch of things, and we decided to do a little video about what we learned and tell you about it on our next coming trip, because we're going back. We're going back in June of 2023. Stay tuned and you'll learn some of the tips that we learned when we were there. See ya.
See ya.
Well, to head to Alaska, the first thing you got to do is you got to get there. Well, we're going to fly. It's just too many miles to drive up to Alaska. But to get there, the best way to get there is through Alaska Airlines and use their Air Alaska credit card. They have all kinds of promotionals on these credit cards, and sign up for the one where you get a free companion fare instantly when you get the credit card. So all you have to do is spend $3,000 on the credit card and you get a free companion fare. So when we booked our tickets to go to Alaska, we saved $1,200 instantly because she flew for 90 bucks. So then the next question you may have is the baggage. So last time we each took one checked bag and we checked the bag. We did that to save the baggage fees. But with the Air Alaska credit card, the first bag for each of us is free, and we have a lot of points on Air Alaska, so we might even get the second one free. It's still cool at night in Alaska, so the winter stuff takes up a lot of room in a suitcase. So this time we're taking 4 checked bags. And one of the checked bags, we're actually gonna put camping stuff in it because of the stuff that the RV did not come with. So we are renting an RV through Great Alaskan Holidays. It's the #1 renter of RVs up in Alaska. And they do a great job. If you go to their website, what you see is what you get. You don't get anything extra. So some of the things that we're bringing with us to Alaska is a water hose.
We actually bought this water hose in Alaska last time because we wanted to face the RV a completely different way, and the water hose wasn't long enough. So we went to the hardware store in that town and it literally had one extension hose. So we purchased that, brought that back, used it here at home on our rig, and we're taking it back and using it there.
We're taking it back to Alaska again. Another thing they don't give you is a water filter. So we're just gonna take one instead of trying to find one when we're in Alaska. And another thing is the toilet chemicals. They just barely give you any, and of course they're the bio-friendly ones, and sometimes they don't work so good. So we're just gonna take some of these drop-ins with us in the luggage and take it with us. Air Alaska has the best flight times out of Florida to get into Anchorage. So you can actually fly into Anchorage and land around 2 or 3 o'clock their time, which gives you time to go pick up the RV and also provision it. So the first day we're flying in, we're gonna provision it at Walmart, Costco, and Fred Meyer. And Fred Meyer is the main grocery store there. It's kind of like a Kroger. It's a very nice grocery store. And make sure you download their app. You'll save a couple $100 on your grocery bills during that time. On the subject of groceries, the groceries are probably 20 to 30% higher than in the continental US, but that's only in the Anchorage area. If you go outside the Anchorage area, it's double, sometimes triple, depending on what you need. So you wanna get all the provisions that you need in Anchorage. So on our trip, we're actually coming into Anchorage 3 times because we're gonna be there for 3 weeks so that we can reprovision each time when we go into Anchorage.
One of the things you don't think that they wouldn't provide is dish soap. So be aware that when you are in Alaska, there are not a lot of grocery stores. So you have maybe these mom and pop places, and the stuff is very, very expensive. So write a list of stuff that you need. They gave salt and pepper to you, but no dish soap. So it was kind of a silly thing. But just a simple little list to make sure when you go to the grocery store, we have it all divided in what we need for food and what we need for some essentials. Like, here's another example. They didn't have any really cookie sheets. So we're just gonna buy, which we bought last time, these little throwaway metal pans. Those little tiny things make a big difference. But with spatulas and coffee cups and plates, and that's all provided. It's just those little simple things that you kind of think, why didn't you provide that? So be aware, simple little throwaway things makes your life so much easier.
So the first night we're going to provision the RV and we're going to stay in the Cabela's parking lot. And then the next following day, we're going to get anything that we couldn't get the night before, and depending how tired we are, and then head off to Denali. So we're going to Denali, then we're going to Valdez, then we're going to Seward, Homer Spit, and Cooper Landing. And the rental RVs, they cost around $250 a day. And the price of the gas wasn't astronomical, but it is on the high side. But really, it's the food that costs more than anything. And of course, the cost to rent the RV. This time in Alaska, we're gonna rent a lot smaller RV. Last time we rented a 34-footer, and this time we're only gonna rent a 25-footer with no slides. The parking lots and everything is way smaller in Alaska. You'd be surprised at how undeveloped Alaska really is. Nothing is made for a large vehicle, especially when you go to the grocery stores and try to park a big RV. There's not very good parking. Another thing I forgot to mention about the baggage is have a hardcover baggage, so in case it's raining and your luggage is sitting out on the tarmac in the rain, that your stuff that you really need to keep warm is not getting wet, because it'll take forever to dry there in Alaska.
So when we were there last time, we went to Walmart and purchased rubber boots for Kyle and Bill before they went on their fishing excursion. They were the only two that had the right footwear. The way these boats are set up in Alaska, the water constantly is coming into the boat as you're fishing. So make sure you have rubber boots for if you are doing a fishing excursion. The rubber boots will make a big difference in how comfortable you are. Also, rain gear. We brought our own rain gear last time, and we're going to bring the same rain gear. And what we did do before we left Florida is we did put that Scotch guard on it just to give it a little extra protection, because especially the time of year that we went, we did have a lot of rain. It wasn't heavy rain, it more like a misty rain, but it was definitely, you were definitely wet. So you definitely need to make sure you bring rain gear. And like Bill was saying earlier, it does get cold in the evenings, so having a light windbreaker made it a big difference for us.
Yeah, make sure you have a rain fly for your backpack, so your backpacks don't get wet. It takes forever for stuff to dry there.
We actually bought the rain covers for our backpacks in Alaska because that's the issue that we had, is that we were always constantly hiking or doing something in this misty rain, so everything was just damp and wet.
We always heard that you really didn't need any reservations for camping in Alaska, but for the really top spots you really do. And it's not that expensive. We only paid like maybe $60 a night at the most expensive ones. Like I think the most expensive one was the one on Homer Spit, because it's really nice and has full facilities and it's right in the middle of all the action.
And one of the things that we liked about that campground when we stayed there last time, the restroom and the laundry facility, top notch.
They even had a guard there.
They have a security guard there. And you have a card, and he checks that card before you go into the facility. So very, very nice. Very nice setup they have. If you're flying there, I want you to be aware that in Florida at least, the bear spray is a lot cheaper. We did go on the Cabela's website for Anchorage, and the bear spray was expensive, a lot more than it was in Florida. But the problem is you are not allowed to fly with bear spray.
Right.
So just be aware that when you get to where you're going, you need to have bear spray in some of these places. It is highly recommended.
But we're not going to see any bears, right?
You never know.
Yeah, we have bells. We're bringing little bells too with us. We'll be sure to make plenty of noise so the bears stay away from us.
So on booking your excursions, the last time we waited too long to book it, and a lot of the things that we wanted to do were already booked. And unfortunately, the time of the year, which is August is when we went last time, the weather was not cooperative. So 3 of the major things that we wanted to do got canceled. They did give us a full refund for our money, and then the one gave us a partial refund because we got to do half of it. So just be aware as soon as you can get your camping reservations, and that's a different story in itself. They don't all open up at the same time. So Bill, being a CPA, he made a spreadsheet when everything would open that we could book our first reservation, and the time difference, you have to make sure that you're, with the time difference. And he just started calling as soon as he was able to on those dates that we wanted specific. We're going to be over there on the 4th of July holiday time. So we did unfortunately have some difficulties booking some of the sites. So just be prepared.
Yeah, last time we started booking excursions like 6 weeks in advance, and some of the really good stuff was completely gone. The bears, we had a hard time booking the air flight to go see the bears, but we did finally get one booked. Of course, we had to pay more money for the company we booked with, but of course it ended up getting canceled because of fog. Anyways.
So we're really hoping that this time everything that we've booked will pan out and we'll be able to do it. We have some bucket list stuff that we're just so excited about. So hopefully we will share those with you, because it's all depending on the weather. The weather can change so fast in Alaska. They actually tell you on some of the flights that you have to bring 3 days medication with you in case the weather turns. So just be aware that it is important to have those reservations, but don't get too discouraged if they are canceled.
So in Denali, we're flying up to see the, on her birthday, we have a flight scheduled to go up to the top of the mountain on her birthday to see, was it Mount McKinley? And then we're going to hike a glacier. I can't pronounce the name of the park it's in, but it's on the way to Valdez. And then in Valdez, we have an excursion. We're gonna kayak into the icebergs. And then in Homer, we have 2 things booked. We're flying to see the bears, and then we're also have a special fishing trip booked.
So we are excited about the, and we're also doing the glacier tour. The one that we did last time.
Oh yes.
We're doing that also, but unfortunately, that was the one that got partially canceled because it was too rough to make it all the way to the glacier.
That's in Seward.
Yep, and so they did give us a partial refund, so we are doing that again because we kind of really had our heart set on to going to see the glacier, so we're hoping the weather cooperates.
We got some beautiful campsites booked. We hope to see you there. Take care.
This is Bill and Deb North of the Florida Weekend Warriors. We will see you on our next adventure. See ya.
See ya. Yep, there we go. Whoa, wow.